Welcome, everyone. This is Jude over at Flamingo. So thank you all for jumping on our webinar. So I hope you enjoyed the intro. And as always, you should 100% care about your reputation. So ignore everything you heard on that song and really care about your reputation. So really excited to have everyone join our latest webinar. So on this webinar, we are going to go through how to generate reviews. So some of you were on the webinar last week and we had some technical issues. So we are doing a couple of sessions as makeup. So the first session is today, and then we have another session next Thursday. So if you enjoyed the webinar, definitely let the rest of your colleagues know about this webinar and get them really excited. So we will get started in a second, but really excited to have you all join us. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jude, and I am the founder and CEO of Flamingo. And for those of you that do not know Flamingo, Flamingo is a resident engagement and experience platform, and we offer the one app resident experience. So what that means is that your residents no longer have to download multiple apps in order to live at your community. We offer one app that residents are able to use to sign up for events, message their neighbor, access on-demand fitness, pay their rents through our integrations with Yardi, RealPage, or Intrada. And so our platform just makes it much easier for you to offer really the best-in-class resident experience. So webinar guidelines. So this webinar is really interactive, and that's how all of our webinars are. So if you haven't already, use the chat feature to let us know where you are calling in from, what company you are with, and what your favorite restaurant is. So that's going to come into play later. If you attended last week, you already know the reason why. So again, our webinars are super interactive. And then as we go through the webinar, use the chat to add comments, questions, share your ideas. And then if you really disagree with something, let us know. Or if something really resonates, let us know as well. And then at the end of the webinar, we have a special offer and some prizes as well that we will let you know about. So in terms of the structure of the webinar, so we are going to go through a couple of really key things. The first one is why reviews are important. So for those of you that attended last week, you already kind of have the idea. And then we'll go through why a review generation strategy makes all the difference and why your residents can be happy, but it looks like your community is just the worst in the world. And then we will then go into the tactics for how to really generate 100 reviews in less than a year. And then some really salient tactics for how to actually do that, where you are able to get 2 to 3 reviews per week. And then we'll talk about a special offer that we have for our attendees. So get really excited. So we will start with why reviews are important. So many of you are attending this webinar because you already know how critical reviews are to everything. So reviews are very, very important, but what are the reasons why they are so important? So just some quick statistics that we looked at as we were doing our research on the webinar over the last couple of years. So one of the key things is 90% of consumers say that before they buy something, they always look at online reviews and it actually influences their decision. And that makes complete sense. It takes away the risk and it lets you know a product is good or not good. And then Google really favors businesses with higher reviews. So the more reviews you have, the higher you rank. The reason behind that is because Google is a search platform. Their whole product is to allow people to find what they need. So what they need are great businesses when someone is searching for a business or product. So Google is going to favor whatever business has the best reviews. So Google looks at location, intent, and then they also look at reviews when it comes to businesses. And then what's really important to note is that when a product reaches like what we call the holy grail of 101 plus reviews, conversion rates go up very, very quickly by almost 250%. And that's across the board for all types of products, whether it's a business or whether it's a simple product. So why that's so critical is because when consumers see that 100 number, they're like, okay, this is proven, this is legitimate, people like it. So you really want to ensure that your reviews get up to 100. So not only do the quality of reviews matter, but the volume actually matters as well too. So if you have 25-star reviews, that's great, but people want to see you reach that 100. And that's also when you really know you have a strategy in place. So very critical. But the data and all of those things are really important. But what's always like nice is to talk to people. So talk to people that actually buy things. So as we were looking at this webinar, we had this quote from Taylor, who is our head of sales. And it's really pertinent because she is a millennial. So Taylor said, personally, I have never bought anything from Amazon with less than 4-star reviews. If I'm putting that much thought into buying a toothbrush, you can imagine how much more I considered online reviews when I recently moved into a new apartment. So that's across the board to all your prospective residents. They care about your reviews. They look at everything they buy with that eye of, hey, is this going to be something that I regret, or has this been proven and it's something that I know? So reviews, again, very, very critical. So a quick poll for those on the webinar. So I mentioned earlier that the restaurant is going to come into place. So we'd love to know for all of you on the webinar, have you left a review for your favorite restaurant? So the poll's just opened. So you should get a pop-up asking you to complete the poll. So let's take a few 30 seconds or so to complete the poll, and we'll go and then we'll continue the webinar. So a lot of great reviews coming in already for the poll. So right now it's actually pretty split out. So 64 have not left a review and 36 have left a review. So let's give it a few more seconds to get a few more people to complete their responses. So the poll is going to close in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, perfect. So a lot of great responses. So poll results, 63% of people have not left a review, and only 38% have left a review. So as you can see, it can be really difficult to leave reviews or to generate reviews. So many of you, this is your favorite restaurant, but you haven't really taken the time to leave a review. So again, that's why a review generation strategy is so important, because it can be difficult to pull reviews out of people. So thank you all for completing the poll. So we have a few more fun polls that are coming up. So keep an eye out for that. So knowing that reviews can be difficult to get even for something as fun as your favorite restaurant, how then do you go about getting reviews for your property? So that's why a review generation strategy really makes all the difference in the world. And it's super, super important and pertinent that you develop one. So if we look at two communities that we looked at as part of our research, you can see these two buildings. Both are in exactly the same location in Dunwoody, Georgia. And both were built actually pretty far apart, but you can see how interesting this is. So it's the same location, the same demographic, but they have vastly different outcomes. And why this is even more important is you can see that the community that was built in 1991 to this day only has 106 reviews, whereas the one that was built almost 20 years later has over 1,000 reviews. So again, you can already guess which of these actually has a review generation strategy. If I had to bet, it would be the one that was built in 2008. So again, this is why having a review generation strategy is so critical and so important. And then the same thing here, same brand, same demographic, but very different outcomes. So both of these communities are owned and managed by the same company. So each building is exactly the same in every single way. The only difference is, you can guess it, is one of them has a review generation strategy and the other one doesn't. And what is most interesting here is that these are 55 plus communities. So you can already see that it's already a difficult demographic to get to leave reviews. That's why for Avador Edina, they only have 4 reviews, because that demographic just isn't tech savvy and just doesn't leave reviews. But you can make up for that with an actual review generation strategy, which is what Avador Evanston has. And that's why they have 25 reviews. So a review generation strategy is what makes all the difference. And then another pertinent example, these are 2 different property management companies and owner groups. So owner A has almost all of their communities have more than 100 reviews, whereas for the second one, for B, most of their communities have less than 100. So you can guess which of these groups has an actual review generation strategy and which one doesn't. So if you don't think a review generation strategy is important, this is one of the most critical examples. So these are all for A, they own and manage all of those communities listed under the reviews, and then the same thing too for B. So you can see how a review generation strategy isn't important just for one community, but it's important for your whole portfolio. So for owner A, their results are insanely better than what you have for owner B. And then for many of you, you might agree like, yes, we need a review generation strategy, but you are worried about the reviews that you might get. So why is that? Why can your residents be really happy, but your reviews look like you have the worst property in the neighborhood? So it all comes down to a few key things. One of those is the psychology of reviews. So human beings are hardwired to remember bad experiences. So if you've ever had a breakup, you remember it for a really long time. If you stub your toe, you remember it for a really long time. So for property management, this is such a challenge because you could have 99 amazing resident experiences or interactions for your resident, and then you have one bad interaction with that resident, and that's all they remember. And then for people that have those bad experiences that are more memorable, their motivation to leave a review is much, much higher than someone that's happy. So for your residents that are happy, they are living their best life. They are not thinking about reviews. They are not as motivated to leave a review. So that's why for a lot of properties, their online presence looks and skews towards negative rather than positive. So again, the reason is because your residents remember the bad things more than they do the good things. And then they are way more motivated to leave a review with the negative motivation. So we actually did a study to look at what that differential is. So across Flamingo's platform, we do hundreds of resident surveys every month, and we can look at the results and see that from almost 30,000 resident surveys, residents are on average 4 out of 5 happy with their property. So they rate their happiness a 4 out of 5. But when we look at the average online reviews for all of the apartments in the US, what we find is that the average rating is 3.2 out of 5. So what this means is that there is a 0.8 difference between how your residents feel about their community and what your online presence looks like. So that 20% differential is exactly what we spoke about. It's that psychology where the people that are unhappy are more motivated to leave reviews than the happy people. So you end up with more negative reviews than you do positive reviews. So that's why having a review generation strategy is critical, because it helps you make up for that 20% differential so that your online presence actually matches your resident satisfaction. And this is something you can test yourself. You can do a survey of all your residents to see how happy they are, and then compare that to your actual online reviews. And that's going to let you know your personal differential. So in terms of reviews, so why do you really want to focus on getting those reviews? So for most of you, you already know why reviews are important. But what we have found is that every additional star improvement causes an increase in 9% of revenue. So this is huge. So every jump from 3.5 to 4.5, that is basically a 9% increase in revenue. And it's across the board. So for property management in particular, that means more traffic. So you get a greater increase in traffic. It means more tours. So you get more people stopping by the building, more conversions, and then basically allows you to add a rent premium, which is a very critical thing to understand. So when you think about products, for most people, they are willing to pay for a product and pay a lot more if they know that they are going to get the results from that product and that they are not going to have any issues. That's what's called a premium. So for a lot of people, they are more than willing to pay more for a product if it's great. So in property management, millions of dollars are spent on capital improvements, whether it's improving the fitness center, redoing the lobby, or implementing smart home technology. So all of those are great. And all of those things are going to help you improve your NOI and allow you to really charge a rent premium. But those are very expensive to do. A really quick and easy way to have a rent premium is to simply improve your online presence. So if I look at these two companies, Company A and Company B, Company A can obviously charge a much higher premium on rent. And it really doesn't matter if the operations are the same. But as a resident, if I am looking to live at one community, I am going to pick the one that has the highest number of reviews. And I am more than willing to pay a rent premium for that. So that's why reviews are really critical and have a real bottom line impact, whether it's on traffic, whether it's on conversions, or whether it's on a rent premium. That is going to make your asset manager and the owner really, really happy. So we move on to poll number 2. If you could pay for reviews, what is the maximum that you would pay per review? So the polling is going to open in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you all should see a pop-up. So if you could pay for reviews, what is the maximum that you would be willing to pay per 5-star review? So let's see what you all think. So again, you should see a pop-up in the platform to complete it. So we'll give it about 45 seconds, and then I'll go through what the results look like. Okay, perfect. So it looks like we have about 65% of responses in. So let's get to 80%. Okay, cool. So we have 5 more percent. Okay, perfect. So we now have over 80% of the responses. So I am going to close the poll. So fun results. So if you could pay for reviews, what is the maximum you would pay per 5-star review? So 33% of you would pay less than $50. 7% would pay between $50 to $75. 33% would pay between $75 and $100. And then 3% or 20% of you would pay between $100 and $150. And then 7% of you would pay over $200 per review. So the highest number, or the median, is you all would pay about $100 per review. So that's what's the average. So very interesting survey results, and also very interesting that 7% of you would actually pay over $200 per review. So thankfully, the review generation strategies that we are going to go through don't require you to cough up that much money. And it's also very, very against the terms and conditions of all the review sites to pay for reviews. But this was curious to know how much you all would be willing to pay for reviews. So then let's go into the secret to generating 100 reviews per year. So we're going to start with strategy and then go into tactics and then go into deep tactics. So let's start with the strategy. So the main thing to know about asking for reviews, or the secret sauce, is to literally ask for reviews. So that's the strategy. So to get reviews, you have to ask for reviews. Your residents are not going to just go out and leave reviews. As we spoke about, if you just leave it for residents, the people that leave reviews are mostly going to be the unhappy people. So the biggest secret to generating reviews is to simply ask for reviews. You have to be very tactful, but shameless. What that means is you have to ask for reviews at every single occasion. So ask for reviews at every and all opportunities. So what our data has shown is people really like reviews. That's why Yelp has over 224 million reviews. So the first thing to note is your residents are going to leave reviews and do want to leave reviews. What you have to do is ask them to leave reviews and make it really simple for them to leave reviews. But in terms of an actual strategy, how do you go about asking for reviews? So what you need is a really proactive review generation strategy. And a proactive review generation strategy has 5 parts to it. The first one is the trigger. So the trigger is what actually triggers a review request. So what needs to happen in order for you to get a review or to ask for a review? Why that's important is you don't want to simply ask residents at a random times for a review. You have to find the right triggers that is going to maximize the number of reviews that you have and also maximize the positive outcomes that you get from reviews. So that's why a trigger is really important. And we will go into details about what the best triggers are. The second is who owns the review. So who should be asking for that review? Not everyone should ask for a review on your team. It should be specific people, and it changes based on the trigger. And again, we will go through who should be asking for reviews based on the trigger. The third is the method. So how do you ask for a review? Is it via text? Is it talking? So we'll go through like how review requests should be sent. And then a fourth and really important one is a way to track review requests and to track who has actually left a review. The last thing you want is to ask a resident 10 times to leave a review on Google. So that's just going to annoy the resident. So you need a tracking system to really ensure that you aren't over asking or repeating or basically driving your resident nuts with a review request. The fifth is passive reach. So you always want to ask for reviews, but one really cool thing and one really effortless thing you can do is generate reviews without you constantly having to ask for residents. So basically create an environment where residents are leaving reviews without your teams having to proactively ask for reviews each time. Then we move on to what are some of those triggers. So what our data has shown is that there are some very key parts of the resident journey that lend themselves to getting a lot of reviews from your residents. So some of these triggers include after a tour. So that's a perfect opportunity to garner a resident review or a prospect review. And why this is so nice is that it's not just a request to residents, but also to prospects. So it could be someone that decides not to move in. They might have found a better community or something that better fits their need, but that's no reason not to get a review from them. And this is where your leasing agents can really shine. The second is within 10 days of moving in. So after someone has moved in, they have had a great moving experience, they are really excited. 10 days after that is a really great time to ask for a review. The third is after a resident event. So someone has attended an awesome happy hour or a really fun sip and paint event or a really amazing holiday party. That's one of the most perfect times to ask for a review. The fourth is after an amenity reservation. So someone has used your 10,000 foot fitness facility, or they have used the pool, or they have used your co-working space. That's a great time to ask for a review and to ask for a review about amenities. The fifth is after a maintenance request. So you all already know this, but your maintenance team are the heroes of property management. So our data has shown residents love the maintenance team. So there's no better time to ask for a review than after a maintenance request. Another one is after an on-demand fitness workout. So tied in with your amenities, when residents use your on-demand fitness system, that's a great time to ask for a review. Another one is after a really positive staff interaction. So you all already know this. You have all of those conversations with your residents, whether it's via email or in person with your concierge team or when they stop by the office. So if they have had a great interaction with your staff, that's an awesome time to ask for a review. And that's one of the really key parts that's going to get you those reviews that have people's names. Like, hey, I had this awesome whatever with the property manager. Another one is after a renewal. So when someone decides to renew, it means your team is doing something amazing to get them to want to stay. So that's a great time to say, hey, you are renewing. Can you leave us a review and leave us a review about your first, second, whatever year at the community? Another one is after someone's 1 year anniversary or 2 year anniversary. So a really great time to ask for a review. You can tie that in with a happy 1 year anniversary email or text message. So use that as an opportunity to garner a review. And then the last one, the last but not least, is upon move out. So this might seem counterintuitive because if someone is moving out, you might think that they had a negative experience, but that's not the case. So for a lot of residents, they move out because of life circumstances. So they got a new job across town, or they are going to purchase a new home, or they got married or engaged and now moving in together. So when someone is moving out, that's a great opportunity to get a review out of them. So it could be, this is your last thing to do before your last move out task is leave us a review. So these are all data-backed triggers that we have found to be great opportunities to generate and ask for reviews. And then, so you now know what the triggers are, but who should actually ask for the review? So the secret here is that your whole team needs to be involved in the process. So every single person on site needs to be part of your review generation strategy. So after a tour, the best person to ask a review is the leasing team. Within 10 days of moving in, that should be the operations or concierge team. After a resident event, that should be the operations or concierge or whoever actually organized the event. And that's a great occasion to get those name drops in your reviews. And then after an amenity reservation, that again is the ops or the concierge team. And then after a maintenance request, you want that to be the maintenance team. So the maintenance team, again, your underrated heroes to generate a ton of reviews. And then after an on-demand workout, that could be the operations or concierge team. After a positive staff interaction, operations or concierge. After renewal, that could be the leasing team. And then at the 1 year mark, that could be operations or concierge. And then upon move out, similar, it could be the ops team or the concierge. But the key thing to note here is that each of those different triggers should be owned by someone. So their name should be next to this. Like after events, you are responsible for asking for reviews from people that haven't yet left a review. So you want to make this a team sport where everyone is responsible for their specific segment. So that's a key part. Everyone should own this process. And then, so you now know the triggers that should lead to a review request, and you also know who should be responsible. So what are the best ways to actually ask for a review? So for some of you, this might be uncomfortable. You don't want to say it to a resident. So there are a bunch of different ways to ask for reviews. It could be verbal. So really quick, simple, you ask a resident when you see them. It could be via text. So if you have a text messaging system, you can quickly and easily text a resident a link to your review site. Via email, kind of similar, you can send a one-to-one email, or you could send an email to your entire resident database. Number 4 is a resident engagement app. You can add a pop-up or push notification that automates that whole process. 5 is same thing with a resident engagement app. You can turn on the push notification feature. And then number 6 are those passive asks that you have around the building, and we'll go into that. So all of these are legitimate methods to ask for review requests. The first one, which is verbal, is great, but the downside is that it's not the easiest thing, because that requires the resident to remember that you asked them for a review and then to go do it afterwards. What you really want to focus on is things that are going to allow residents to kind of take their own time to do it. So a key part here is know what the situation is and what the best way to ask for a review. And these could be different based on the different triggers. And we'll go into that as well too. And then the fourth one is tracking. So this one is critical, but underappreciated. So this is where you prevent frustrating residents by asking for reviews too many times. So you want to use a tracking system to avoid duplicate resident requests. And this is where a review generation software like Flamingo comes in. So this allows you to really automate that process. So you are able to know who has already done a review, who hasn't, who's already asked. And then it also allows you to track which residents are leaving reviews on which sites. You can also do this using an Excel sheet. So that's another way to track the review requests. But it's really critical you track the review requests so you don't overwhelm residents with too many requests. So you don't have the situation where on the same day, the maintenance team, the front desk, the leasing agent all ask for reviews. So really critical to have a tracking system. And then the next one, which is really a key part to any review generation strategy, is passive reach. So what passive reach means is you want to passively ask residents to leave reviews across all of your amenity areas, the building. So find those like key and high traffic areas where you can passively ask residents for reviews or remind them about reviews. So that could be the elevator. That could be the fitness center. That could be a lobby. If you have digital screens, you can add content on there. It could be the resident lounge. So these are just a few examples. But what you want to do is really do a walkthrough of your entire community and find the places that are high traffic. That could be great places to passively ask for reviews. So now we go into the more detailed, and I'll say the more fun part of this webinar. So how do you go about generating 2 to 3 reviews per week? So there are a lot of key things you can do. The first of which is, and the simplest one, is to send an email or text message quarterly to your residents asking for reviews. So this is probably one of the easiest tactics, is literally every quarter, send an email or text message to your residents asking them to leave a review. It's really that simple. You are going to get a bunch of reviews from this. So that's tactic 1. And then a really important one, we spoke about those like passive reaches, is to add QR codes in high traffic areas. So that includes the fitness center, includes the elevator, includes the mailroom. So think of all those places that are high traffic around the building and add QR codes within those places asking for reviews. One of our clients did this, and they have over 300 reviews across their portfolio per building. So a really quick and easy way to constantly generate reviews is simply add QR codes. So I cannot emphasize this one enough. If you do one thing today or after this webinar, this is the one I would recommend the most. So this is going to be something you do just one time, and it's going to help you continuously. So no additional work on your part, and you do it just one time. So I highly, highly recommend this one. So again, I'll re-emphasize this one. If you do one thing today or this week or next week, because it's Friday, this should be it. So my biggest takeaway is install QR codes, asking for reviews. The magic will be awesome for you. And then add reminders or QR codes to a digital screen. So you shouldn't be doing paper flyers anymore. So we are way past that. It's 2022. So get digital screens, add them to your lobby, to your mailroom, to your lobby, to wherever. And use those digital screens to show off your upcoming events, weather, traffic, all of that. But most importantly, use that as part of your review generation strategy. So add QR codes or reminders to your residents to ask for reviews. If you are interested in the software, Flamingo actually offers this for free. So it's part of the free parts of our platform. So for those of you that are looking to implement digital screens, we have you covered. And then a really key one is to gamify or tie reviews to staff bonuses. So if you are looking to really drive reviews, and if you think reviews are really important, and if you know you can get a rent premium through reviews, there is no better way to ensure this actually happens but by tying it into how your staff gets paid. So you can do it multiple ways. You could have a KPI for number of reviews per week. You could have it where the number, if staff get named in reviews, they earn bonuses. So there are multiple different ways where you can drive a lot of review generation by simply tying reviews to your staff bonuses. So this is going to do a lot of things. It's going to ensure that your staff is really on top of everything. Because when it comes down to it, reviews are still a reflection of your operations. So it's going to ensure your staff is really offering the best service available. And then it's going to incentivize each of them to focus on those triggers and really own them. So everyone has to do their part in order for you to generate reviews. So a really important part is money talks. So let's tie review generation into how people get paid. A simple and nice one is to mail review request postcards to your residents, or you can also just add them to your mailbox. So this is a very cheap and easy tactic, and you can tie this into annual Happy Holidays postcards or Happy Valentine's Day postcards. So you can use this as a way to be nice to your residents by wishing them Happy Holidays or Happy Valentine's Day or Happy Summer or Happy 4th of July. And then you can tie that into review requests as well too. So a really easy one that you can do. And what's nice is postcards like these, you can basically do online, and those companies mail them directly to the building. So this is something that will take you 10 minutes max to complete. And it's going to help you generate a ton of reviews. And then also actually wishes your residents like happy holidays or something else. And then a really important one, this is part of like the passive tactics, is add a review link to all resident-facing emails. So I'm sure you all send a ton of emails to your residents or to prospects. So every email should contain a link requesting reviews. So that's going to be a very passive tactic for you to do. So another quick and easy one that you can do today. So you can simply go into your email and then change the email signature to include reviews or review links. So a quick and easy one. And this one is important. So many of you or most of you have welcome home packets that you provide to your residents. So simply add a review request to the moving packet. So let residents know like, hey, welcome to our community. How was your moving experience? And then let us know and add the link that takes them to your review page. So a really quick and easy way to constantly generate reviews from people that have just moved in. And as you all know, the people that are the happiest are the people that just moved in because things happen down the line. But you want to make sure you capture that review right away. And another one, I mentioned that the QR codes are the first one that I would absolutely recommend you do. This is the second thing that I would absolutely recommend that you do, whether it's today or next week. But every single maintenance request should end with a service completion card that your maintenance team leaves behind. So this one is the ultimate secret to generate a ton of reviews. Your residents are requesting 300 plus reviews or maintenance requests per month. So use that as an opportunity to get reviews. So simply create these cards, and your maintenance team should leave these behind every single completion. So this is going to help you really generate reviews on a constant basis. So I completely emphasize this one. Make it happen. You will be surprised by you love how many new reviews you get on a continuous basis. And your maintenance team is going to love seeing their name on Google, Facebook, and Yelp about how awesome that team is. So this is a nice way to really have maintenance appreciation. They are going to love seeing their name all over Google with 5 stars attached to it. And then an online secret is first impressions matter. So to generate reviews, you need to create a 5-star move-in experience. So we actually have an article and playbook for how to create the best move-in experience, but here is a short summary. So create a fun and memorable experience for your residents. This is very different than a move-in process. So almost everyone does a move-in process. You want to take it to the next level and create a move-in experience. That's where the magic happens again. So a few components you can add is have a ribbon cutting. So add a ribbon to the resident's door, give them scissors to cut it. It's going to be a really fun thing for that resident to say, hey, welcome home. And you can use those videos that you get from those ribbon ceremonies on your Facebook, on your Instagram, your TikTok, if you have it. So just a fun thing that you can do on a regular basis and use that as part of your marketing. And for the resident, that's going to make them feel really, really special because, again, this isn't something that a lot of people do. So it's going to help them become really excited about where they live and increases the chances of them leaving a review. And then make sure you have a welcome home packet. So that could include welcome home gifts. It could include quite a variety of things that are either personalized to the resident or that are generic and you can give to anyone. So a welcome home packet, make it a fun thing that a resident looks forward to. Do not in any situation make your welcome packet a bunch of rules and whatever that you give residents. That should be part of your digital resident guide. A welcome home packet should be a fun thing that residents want to look forward to, not for them to read your 200-page resident guide. So create a fun welcome home packet. And then another fun thing is create a scavenger hunt. So you all have a bunch of amenities. You have a bunch of restaurants around the city. Create a fun scavenger hunt that all your residents have to complete as part of your move-in process, which now should be a move-in experience. So it could be go use the fitness center, go get coffee at everyone's favorite local bar, go do this. So create a fun challenge or scavenger hunt that your residents have to complete as part of their move-in experience, and then offer them a prize if they complete the challenge. Or offer them a prize if they complete the challenge and then post about the challenge on social media. So again, that's going to help you generate a lot of goodwill and get your residents really excited. And then finally, offer monthly new welcome home events for your new residents. So every month you have 5, 10, 20, whatever number of residents moving in, do an event or dinner or something simple just for those people. So at the end of every month, do a new resident welcome. That's going to make your residents feel really, really special. So doing all of these things are going to allow you to then ask for a review. That's going to earn you a 5-star review. Everyone does a moving process. You should be doing a moving experience. So really get at it. And that's going to add on to the number of reviews that you have on a monthly basis. And then most importantly here is you just don't want to ask for a review, but you want to ask for a review that gets you a specific type of review. So there's a nuance here. You want to ask for reviews by asking residents to leave reviews about specific aspects of your resident experience. So for some residents, you want to ask them to leave a review about the moving process. For other residents, you want to ask them to leave a review about how the tour was. So that's more for prospects. For other residents, you want to ask for reviews about events. And then for other residents, you want to ask, like, hey, how's the noise situation? Like, leave us a review about noise. Another one, ask residents about the neighborhood, or ask other residents to leave reviews about amenities or about their neighbors or about the staff. So that's why we have those triggers, because those triggers allow you to ask a review about something very specific. So if someone requests maintenance and it's completed, you want to ask for a review about the maintenance team. If someone uses an amenity, you want to ask for a review about amenities. If someone attends an event, you want to ask for a review about events. What that means is when a prospect is going through your Google page or your Facebook reviews or your Yelp reviews, they are able to see all aspects of your resident experience. So they read and see, oh my God, this building has an awesome move-in experience. We did a scavenger hunt. We did all these things. Someone else talks about, oh my God, there's no noise. I can never hear my neighbors. Or someone else is talking about how awesome your events are. So you want to ask for specific reviews to help you show off all parts of your resident experience. And that's going to make all the difference. And that's what's going to get you that awesome amount of traffic and tours. So really, really focus on asking for specific reviews in specific instances. That's why those triggers are so important. And then another tip is to host a review party or have review stations at large events. So I'm in Chicago and it basically is now like summer. Hopefully it stays like this, but you all have those large events you do every year. It could be your annual pool party. It could be your annual holiday party. So you want to use those situations or occasions as a way to really generate a lot of reviews. So use those and be shameless. Like we talked about being tactful, but shameless. So this is one of those situations where you want to be very tactful, but shameless. So use all of those large events as a way to generate a lot of reviews, or simply host a review party. So a really quick and easy way to generate reviews really, really quickly. Another one is to create a pinned post with a review link within your resident engagement app. So you all, if you don't have a resident engagement app, shameless plug is Flamingo can provide you with a free resident engagement app. You can create a pinned post where residents can see all of the announcements. They can see all of your comments. You can create a pinned post that has a link for residents to leave reviews. So that's another passive thing you can do. And that's something that residents like hold on to on a continuous basis. So that's, again, going to help you generate a ton of reviews on a regular basis. A really cool one that you can do to boost reviews very quickly is to run a review campaign when you are close to a review milestone. So for example, let's say on Google, you have 89 reviews. You could do a campaign to say, hey guys, help us get to 100 reviews. So send out an email, push notification, text message, create signage around the building, add something to your digital screen. So create a fun campaign to get residents really excited about the opportunity to help you get to that new milestone. So you can do it across milestones. It could be help us get to 50 reviews, help us get to 100 reviews, or help us get to 150, 200. So use every milestone as an opportunity to generate a lot more reviews. So you will be surprised how quickly you are able to go from like 76 reviews to 100 reviews, like so quickly, because people love to be part of these types of campaigns. You've probably experienced it on social media, where a Facebook page or LinkedIn page or Instagram page is like, hey guys, become our 10th follower or something else. So you can do those to really generate reviews very quickly. And then another tip here is you need to have a really standard way that your teams ask for reviews. So you don't want to leave it up to chance for how your maintenance team, how your leasing team, or how whoever asks for reviews. So what you want to have are like key review phrases. So these are your standard operating procedures for how reviews are requested. It could be as simple as, can you do us a favor by posting a review on X? Or will you share your experience with the rest of the world? So you want to have like key phrases that your teams have to memorize and they can speak on command. So this is a small detail, but it's really important because, again, it allows you to ask for reviews in a way that's actually going to generate reviews. And then an important one is that you want to look at the whole resident journey from when someone moves in to when they move out. Your goal for each one of your residents is that they should leave reviews across all the different review sites. So again, every resident should be leaving a review across all the different review sites. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. So I mentioned earlier, Yelp has over 200 million reviews. So people like to leave reviews. They love to leave reviews. What you have to do is give them the push to leave reviews. So you really want to create a system that allows your residents to leave reviews across all the different review sites. So map that resident journey out. So maybe when someone moves in, the review site you want to send them to is Google. So that's the first touch point they have. They leave a review on Google. And then maybe a few months later, after they have had a couple of maintenance requests, you then want to send them to Facebook to leave a review about their experience with the maintenance team. And then maybe 3 or a couple of months later, after they have attended a few events, you want to get them to leave a review on Yelp about resident events. And then 6 months into or 8 months into their residency, you want to get them to leave a review on apartments.com after they have used a bunch of amenities. And you ask them like, hey, leave us a review about X amenity that you have used 20 times. And then maybe upon move out or on renewal, you get them to leave a review on apartmentratings.com. So you really want to map out that journey so that you get your residents to leave reviews across all the different review sites. This is a very critical one because all of those sites are important. Google is the most important, but all the different review sites are just as important. And having it this way makes the residents feel like less requests are coming about reviews because each request looks different. So if you think this is unrealistic, I have left over 100 reviews on Uber because I take Uber a lot. But every time I take a ride, they ask me for a review and I leave a rating. So it's the same thing with your residents. They are going to leave reviews if you ask for those reviews and make it really simple for them to leave a review. So you should absolutely want to get residents to leave reviews on all the review sites across all aspects of your resident experience, from the moving process to events to staff interactions. So really focus on this key element of generating reviews. And then you can use a resident engagement app like Flamingo's platform that has a review generation feature to completely automate all of the things we've spoken about. So if this seems like a lot and you are looking to automate something like this, our platform fully automates all of that. And then next, a few more tips for us to wrap up. So you want to not only get reviews, but you also want to get really high value reviews. So one way to do that is to host monthly town halls to get resident complaints. So capture all of those complaints internally so they don't become bad reviews. So really do town halls to capture all resident complaints so you can keep only the best feedback goes to the review sites. And then implement pulse surveys to catch issues before they end up online. So survey your residents every month about maintenance, about how happy they are, about the moving process. Doing that allows you to capture negative feedback internally so they don't end up on the platforms externally. So you want to catch all those issues before they go out negatively. And then provide residents a forum to complain. So provide a place for residents to complain, to get their rage out, like all the things that they might not agree with. Provide some place internally so they have some place to vent. And that's going to really help you ensure that your reviews look amazing. And then reach out to residents who leave less than a 5-star review after you've addressed the issue. So a small tip that a lot of people don't realize is that reviews are not permanent. They are not set in stone. Residents can change reviews on Google, Facebook, Yelp. All of those review sites allow the user to edit their review. So if someone leaves a 2, 3, or even 4-star review, reach out to them, fix the issue, and then ask them to update their review. That's one of the quickest ways that you can instantly improve what your online presence looks like. And then just tips, over communicate different like uncertainties. So our data has shown that the most number of times people leave reviews are because of something going on that they feel like they don't have control over. So if the elevator is down, proactively let residents know. If you have staff shortages, let people know like, hey, our responses are going to be slower than usual. So proactively over communicate to residents so they know what's going on before they go online to leave a negative review. So really always over communicate. And then you have done all the work. You have implemented a review strategy. You have generated a bunch of reviews. So now what? What we recommend is show off your reviews on your website. So embed a review widget on your website so prospective residents can see really how awesome you are. So this is also something that Flamingo offers. So if you are looking to show off your reviews, that's one of the features available on our platform. You can show off your awesome reviews on your website. So as we wrap up, feel free to ask questions in the chat. I know we are right at the mark, but use the chat to ask questions that you have, or you can reach out to us to ask like any questions. So just a few notes for the webinar. We will send out the guide that I just went over with more details about all the different tactics to leave reviews. If you want a specific training for your team, we provide this for free. So email us again, and we can set up a free training with your site teams or your portfolio. And then if you want to learn more, subscribe to our Apartment Rebels podcast, where I interview industry leaders that are doing really cool things. So you can listen to the podcast, you can subscribe to get all the new episodes. And then finally, a special offer to anyone attending. So as you know, Flamingo offers the one app resident journey. So we are offering a special discount of 50%. So if you get our tier 3 app and platform that comes with a branded resident app, the review generation feature that completely automates the review generation process, our reputation management system, our on-demand fitness, our digital move-in renewal and move-out checklist that allows you to create a move-in experience rather than a move-in process, our digital resident guide, our resident surveys, and our resident rewards. You can get all of that for $150. It's typically $3 per unit per month. But until next Friday, we have a special discount where if you opted into this, you would get it for $1.50 per unit. So an amazing offer, and it is a one-time offer. So if you are interested, talk to your leadership or make that happen really quickly. So thank you all for attending our webinar. So we have some other upcoming webinars. So next week, we have this same webinar for other people that if you are interested in learning more or a refresh, or if you want your teams to attend, send them the email to attend the next training. And then we also have an upcoming webinar on Resident Events 101. So how to make your resident events from events to experiences, and how to get over 50 to 100 people attending those events. And then we also have another webinar on salaries in the multifamily industry. So what are the common salaries for the site teams, regionals, VPs, and all of that. So we have a whole study we've done, so you can see what you should be getting paid. And then we have another webinar on a lease up playbook. So how do you lease up in the best way possible? So last thing is leave a comment, ask questions, and then you can also follow us on LinkedIn to get a lot more content about all aspects of resident experience, resident engagement, and some really, really fun memes as well too. So thank you all for attending our webinar on how to really generate reviews. So let us know if all of these tactics work for you. We would be really excited to hear from you a year from now, how many reviews you started with, and then how many reviews you were able to really gain using these like tactics. So thank you, everyone. I know we went 3 minutes over, but really excited to have had you all with me for this webinar. Bye, everyone.